Okay, so we need to protect our bees from some of these critters, okay? You've probably seen them around your place. Maybe if you live in the city, you may not see all of these, but we have a mouse, we have a possum, and we have a raccoon, and we have a skunk. These are the smaller type of pests. I don't want to talk about bears tonight because those are big critters. And those of you that are in bear country, you probably already have a good handle on bear fencing and all that. But I may do a teaching on that soon. I need to get centered in my circle. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's talk. Let me see. We got those four critters, and I thought it'd be good to talk about these because I've had to deal with all four of these throughout my beekeeping career. Why does my screen do that? Okay, so skunks. Let's talk about skunks first. This year, my goodness, we've had so many skunks here on the property. It has been unreal. I just can't remember having so many skunks. And so I think it's weird. And we not only had a bunch of skunks, we had a family. They raised a whole family of skunks. I mean, I would literally walk out the back door. I live out in the country. We've lived here well over 20 something years. And we're not near any neighbors. We're a quarter mile from the next house that nobody lives in. And all of you that have been raised in the country, we live a mile from the hard road. I love saying that because some of you know what that means. You know, oh, we're a mile off the hard road. But anyway, and we live a quarter mile off of that gravel road to get to our house. So anyway, we're out here where all the critters enjoy. In fact, down our lane, deer love to sleep alongside of our lane at night. But anyway, I would walk out the door and there would be a couple of three skunks right there by the door. I mean, I would literally almost step on them. And I was like, oh, don't spray me, don't spray me, don't spray me. And they never did, but something happened to them. I mean, we have a lot of coyotes around here. I suspect they fell prey of coyotes. But anyway, skunks love beehives, believe it or not. And they will actually try to get in there and eat bees, suck the juices of bees that they grind up in their teeth and their mouth, and then kind of spit all the bee parts back out. And you can see that sometimes. That's how you know you got skunks. Also, they scratch the bottom board. They scratch the front of your hive up. So if you see scratching, some of you are going, oh, I wonder what that was. If you see scratching, those are skunks what they do, they try to scratch to get the bees to come out, and then they just eat bees. They're insectivores, and that's what they do. So ways that you can deal with skunks is that you can buy some carpet nail strips. Carpet installers use those wooden strips with they're not really nails, but they're spikes that stick up along the wall. And you can put those in front of your hive, and those skunks don't like to step on those, their little paws on those sticky up nails. Nobody likes those sticky up nails. I remember as a kid getting hung up on those sometimes at the edge of the wall or something. So be careful when you handle them. But if you do have skunk problems, you can buy a carpet nail strip or make your own, a board with some nails in it. Just don't forget it's there and step on it, or else you'll be screaming because there'll be a board attached to your shoe. Also, skunks, they don't really like to have to stretch up really tall to eat things. And so if you can raise the hive entrance 18 to 24 inches, then it's kind of out of reach for them. And they like to scratch and stuff. And when they're standing up like that, it just doesn't work out good for them. So elevate the hive up. Another thing I used to teach years ago and do is you can put chicken wire. Chicken wire has a lot bigger of an opening for bees to go in and out, but you can just take a bunch of that and put it on top in front of your entrance on your bottom board and all. And that way the skunks can't get their paws into the hive, but bees can still fly in and out. So skunks the worst thing about skunks, that the amount of bees that they eat at night aren't really all that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not going to kill your hive. But what's really bad is that it irritates your hive so much that they could abscond, Or worse, they could stay because they're going to be so mad the next day. Sometimes when people say, my bees suddenly got really angry, I mean, they're just really defensive bees to work. I always ask, check for scratchings on the front of your hive, see if skunks are there at night, because skunks will irritate the bees all night long. And then when you go out there to work your bees in the daytime, you know, they're going to take it out on you because they're grumpy. They didn't get enough sleep. Like that's how we feel. We don't get enough sleep. And then we have raccoons. Let's talk about the raccoons. Now, raccoons are little bears. I mean, they're not really, but I call them that. They're little bears. And I've heard a lot of beekeepers tell me that if you're trying to use like an entrance feeder in the spring, raccoons will take off. They'll go and grab the little sugar jar and off they go. And who knows, they probably can even get the lid off of it. I don't know. If you have it on there tight, I don't see how, but I've seen raccoons do some pretty amazing things. Some people say you can put food in a cooler with a padlock and a raccoon can pick the lock. So they do steal feeders. And I've had beekeepers tell me that they knock the tops off of hives, just like a critter once in there. They know that there's honey up on top or something. And so, you know, you can avoid these things by keeping all your feeders secure from raccoons. And we have a lot of raccoons. I've had to deal with that. I've had to trap them and do other things to raccoons. We've had so many of them here, but yeah, keep heavy rocks or concrete cinder blocks on top of your hives so they don't get to take the top off. That'd be bad. All right, and we have, I don't know if I fell asleep at the wheel there, but we have mice, not a mic. We have mice. Now, I used to say many, many years ago, probably 10 or 15 years ago, I used to say, don't worry about mice. They're not a problem. Bees will handle them. But this is an actual picture of a hive from my own bee yard, probably 10 or so years ago. Sheri would know because that's two of our granddaughters, I think. But and I said to my granddaughters when they were young, they're teenagers or older now, and I said to them, "Hey, there's mice in this beehive. So this beehive here, it overwintered with mice in it, and the mice killed the hive out. So that's sad. They ate the comb, they ate the bees. It was terrible." Because I failed to block off the entrance sufficient for winter. And so the mice got in there. I've got another picture here. You see on the left there, you can see little pinkies, they're called. They're baby mice. And all that debris on the bottom are things that the mice brought in to build a nest there. And then you can see probably the mama mouse running around there below a frame. And it smells so bad. I have found out, my experience is that if mice urinate all over a beehive like that and on your frames, it's really hard for bees to ever get on a frame again that smells like mouse. I mean, it's better to change it out. Pop out the plastic, tear out the wax, start over again. It's really tough. But mice are a big problem. Now, mice can kill a colony in the winter, so you need to protect your bees. Now, I want to share with you this robber screen, and I want to, Robbie, can you take me back to a full screen? Or can you do that? Yeah, you can do that, can't you? Because I want to show this robber screen. Thank you. So this is actually a Bee Smart robber screen. I love these. Now, this is a new one that they just sent me to take a look at. And they've made modifications to this Bee Smart robber screen, and we sell these. But I like the modifications, and I want to show you what they are. The traditional robber screen looks just like this one, only it has less features. This feature, as you notice, is one right here in the center where the old one didn't have that. So the old one would just screen all the way across the bottom. So now this is a mouse guard. Those little holes there are big enough for bees, but small enough that mice can't get through. Now, what's really cool too is, let me get this straight here. Oh, okay. Now, you see this little tab right here. If you spin it all the way around and then put that on your bottom board, I can't do it. It becomes a place where bees can go in and out. There's two of them. See how they swing down? So bees can go in and out of the bottom, but mice can't get in. Now, if you retract them up, swing them up, what happens is it can become a robber screen by putting this, boy, it's hard to work backwards. Yeah, putting that down, and then you have to open these up to make your bees go in and out. I've been moving some hives, and I've been using these to actually move my hive. So these robber screens can serve as a robber screen, because a lot of you say, David, when do I take my robber screens off in the fall? Well, if you use this one the right way, you can leave it on all, I wouldn't say all year, but you could leave it on all fall and winter, let it be your robber screen in the fall and let it keep mice out as well. So it has a lot of neat features to it. Now, let me show you a few other things. In a video that I made today, I'll leave it a script. I've got a script in the description. I've got a link to the video that I made today. Robbie, you can take me back to the slides now because I want to show them. Yeah, I'll advance to the next one here. This piece here, I'm a DIY, do it yourself. I'm a DIY guy. And I said that in the video that I made today because I like using things around the property to make. I don't like going to the store and have to buy something, or, I don't like buying things that are necessarily expensive and they're made for that when I can make it myself, save a little money. This is it's a plastic queen excluder. Now, why I love plastic queen excluders instead of metal is because I can cut them up and I can make anything I want to. So you can see here, if you were to take this and staple it, screw it, nail it, thumbtack it onto the front of your hive, bees can still go in and out, but the mice can't get in. And it's pretty darn cheap when you buy a whole queen excluder, and I cut it too big. It doesn't need to be this tall, and you can get a lot of mouse guards out of a piece of plastic queen excluder. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of a DIY mouse guard protection that I kind of like doing. And also, you're probably already thinking like me, and I have used it this way. If you don't want your hive to swarm, and you see queen cells and you need some time to cut the queen cups down or queen cells out and everything, put this on there on the entrance. You have to cut it to about, the entrance perfectly, but you can cut it so the queen can't leave. So that's kind of a do-it-yourself thing. Now, there are a lot of different kind of mouse guards out there. Another one is it's adjustable, as you can see here. You may have an 8-frame hive. It might even work with the 5-frame nuke. I can't tell. But anyway, you can stretch it all the way out to work on a 10-frame hive like that. Or if you have an 8-frame, you can retract it. It's got a little hole for screws and all. You see that. And so again, mice can't get through there, but your bees can. And if you want to close it off, you can rotate it and have air if you need to move your hive or for some reason I think you would do it like that. Yeah. And then, your bees can still have access to ventilation or air on the bottom board if you want to close off your hive completely. So if I was moving a hive, I would put it in this setting here. So things like this, there's a lot of these types of things that are available for protecting your hive against mice. Mice are a big problem. Okay, so the other thing, out on my Lands hive out there, I took this picture just an hour and a half ago before the sunset. It has the little twirly wheel on it, and it's kind of cool because it's got different settings. Again, this little wheel is, if you're going to use it on a traditional Langstroth hive, it's a little hard to do because you've got that large, 14-inch opening across the front of the hive. So you would have to figure out how to block it off except for that area where this wheel would expose an opening. So it's kind of cool, though. I like it a lot, actually, because you can move it one direction for just all the little tiny holes for ventilation, block them all in. You can set it to where it is now, the big hole where the bees are coming in and out. Or I'm not quite sure what the not so big hole is. I once knew, but now it escapes me. But the little sliver of a hole, I believe, is to keep the queen in, that everybody else, all the workers, can go in and out through that sliver, but it keeps the queen in. So anyway, you could put it on that smaller sliver of it's actually bigger than it looks, but you can put it there and a mouse could not go in. The other one could be a mouse guard too. It might be something big enough to bees go in and out at the top there, that hole, but the mouse can't go in and out, giving the bees more room. Anyway, those are kind of cool. You can buy those little wheels, different versions of them everywhere, and then just figure out a way. I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy. I would simply go out there and I would just either get a piece of wood or cardboard, and cardboard would be easy if it lasted, but it's going to get wet. But maybe plastic cardboard, and then make a little slot in it and then put this over it. Something like that would work. Those are fun things to do. But anyway, one of the things I wanted to share with you is that, you need to protect against mice. And before you do, though, do a thorough inspection of your bottom board before blocking it off, or else you're going to be blocking in the mice that are already in there. And, if they've already harvested the fields around you, mice usually run out of the fields when they harvest and try to find our homes and bee boxes. So again, they will destroy a hive. Make sure, and you just simply need to take a flashlight, is what I do, and I'll look in there and make sure there's no mice in there. Man, I remember one time I walked by a hive and it was just sounded like, well, I lived in the 60s. I was born in 1960, so I grew up in the 60s, and one of my best shows was Batman and Robin. I love that show. I used to watch it all the time, Da 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 da. I just like the car, the cave, everything. But anyway, I always liked Batman and Robin because it was made for kids. So when they were fighting the Joker, they would put these images on the screen that would say "pow," "boom," "bang." You know what I mean? And that's what was happening inside this beehive. One evening, it was probably it was beyond sundown. It was a little kind of getting dark, but I heard this hive going crazy. Bang, boom, bang. It's just like, what could be going on inside of a beehive? Like a fist fight going on Batman and Robin. And pretty soon I saw a mouse come out. Man, that mouse found the wrong hive to mess with that night. That mouse, she had bees stinging her. They were just all over her. She was making all that noise trying to get out of town. It was just unreal. So anyway, if bees are active, they can keep all of these, mice out. But here's the problem. In the fall, in the winter, like tonight, my bees are clustering. A mouse sneaks in there. Bees are not going to break cluster. Since they're cold, they're not going to break cluster in the winter to do anything about the mouse. So the mouse just stays there. By the way, have you seen the images of when they do kill a mouse inside of a hive, what they do to it? Oh, if you've never seen that, maybe I'll try to bring that onto a live stream one night. But what they do is they propolize it. That's right. It is a big glob. It is a a propolis covered mouse. It's unreal, because what they do with the propolis, a propolis is anti-pathogen. It's just anti everything, antiviral, antifungal. It's just anti. And so they cover it so that as the mouse, they can't drag the mouse out, it's too heavy. So as the mouse decays inside their hive, they cover it with propolis to cut down on pathogens. Isn't that amazing? Another amazing thing about bees that we sometimes just don't know about. All right. Well, that's fun. That's a lot of good teaching tonight on getting mice not to go in your hive, because you'll pay the price if they get in there. It's really disgusting. When it's happened to me a few times, and I've ran some experiments afterwards, and I just can't get my bees back on those frames that smells anything like a mouse. I mean, I tried to wax coat them and everything. They kind of finally do, out of desperation, they may draw them out, but it's a lot better just to not get a mouse in there. And if you do, pop out the plastic, put a new sheet on there, let them go to town on something better. That's going to be much better for them. All right, I'm going to tell you about some conferences coming up. I have a lot of conferences. It's funny, I was asked to speak again today at another conference, in February. I have a lot. I think I have 4 talks in February, conferences to go to in February. But everybody keeps asking me to come to their conference on February the 26th, 27th, 28th. I've got so many invitations for that weekend. I'm already booked for that one in Nevada at their state conference, and I keep having to turn people down, and I hate that. But that must be a weekend that all conferences happen on that weekend. But anyway, the next conference I'm going to in a few weeks, maybe a couple of weeks, is Pennsylvania. Yeah, going to be going there. Looking forward to it. Going to be there quite a few days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Anyway, going to have, I think I have 4 talks, and I'm looking forward to being there. It's going to be a great conference. I want to encourage you to go if you live in the area or you want to take a trip to Pennsylvania. Man, it's going to be really fun. And you can register. There's the website link at the bottom there. I'd love to see you. I'd love to hang out with you. Be nice to see some Beak Squad people there that I could hang out with as well. So that'd be fun. And then I get home on Monday. I get 2 days off, and then I'm back on a plane headed to Waco, Texas. So I'll be speaking in Texas. That's going to be like the 21st. So I'll be in Waco, Texas. And I know that I think we have a slide for that, Robbie. Maybe not, but anyway, I'll be in Waco, Texas. So you can just go on the website, look up Texas Beekeeping Association in Waco, Texas. It's going to be November the 21st, and that weekend, I think, going to be a fun conference. I was there earlier in the year. They invited me back. So if you live in Texas, love to have, love to have you join me and all the great people down there in Texas. Yeah, might have to buy me a cowboy hat. Everybody has a cowboy hat. All right. Well, another thing we love to do on the live stream before we start asking or answering questions, we love to have a word of the day. And Robbie, you're going to have to find the new word of the day. Do you see the new one? I got a lot of words up there for Robbie. Let me see if I can find it for you to. Hopefully I put it in there. Oh, let's see. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got it. All right. Positive phototaxis. Positive phototaxis is a great word. It means bees are attracted to light. Now, I get asked the question quite a bit, and people will say, "Oh, David, I'm seeing all these dead bees on my porch. In the morning when I get up, I go outside, there's dead bees on my porch. What's going on? Why are there dead bees on my porch?" Well, obviously, you leave your porch light on, and since bees are positive phototaxis, it means they're attracted to light. And so a lot of insects are, many insects are. And so when they're attracted to light, they're attracted to your porch light, and they just sit there and try to get the light. They buzz, they make a noise until they essentially wear themselves out and die. Yeah, so you need to turn the porch light on or get a different color or something like that. By the way, positive phototaxis, that's a neat word you can throw around and make it sound like you really know bees. But there's also negative phototaxis. There's insects that respond that don't respond to light. Well, they do, but they run. They like to live in the dark. So that would be like termites, or it'd be like cockroaches. Cockroaches run from the light. There's several insects like that, earwigs, got a whole bunch of them in my mind, but there's a lot of them that will run from light. But bees are attracted to light, especially adult bees, But anyway, I want to go over some of the previous words we've used in the past on the live stream. So Robbie, just start throwing them up there. And that way, some of you are new to the live stream. Thanks for coming. But diurnus bees, that's a good word. I used to wrestle with, I don't like calling them winter bees because they are long-lived, sometimes in the summer during a dearth. But anyway, diurnus fits the bill. They're long-lived bee. Diurnus means long-lived. So you raise bees that are diurnus. Yeah, what's another one? We used that in the past on the live stream. And another one is haploid diploidy. Now, that's the one we used last week. And haploid diploidy is the honeybee sex determination system in which unfertilized eggs develop into males, which are haploids, and then fertilized eggs develop into females, what we call diploid. and there you go, So it's like the queen has 32 chromosomes, and then the drones have 16. So that's what this is all about. All right, let's throw another one up there. Oh, detritus. That's a fun one, isn't it? It's a kind of a nice way of saying there's a bunch of debris and waste on your bottom board. You can call it detritus because it can be wax flakes, bead parts. It can be mites. You can see a raw destructor, dead one down there. You can see all kind of stuff, dead beetles. Yeah, detritus is how you say that. These are words that we've used. Oh, precocious. Precocious bees are bees that start doing things before it's time for them to do it. For example, if a bee, something happens to the hive and young bees, let's say they all lose their foragers, young bees would be forced to go out and forage at a young age before they're really old enough to forage naturally on the occurring age. But we call those precocious, doing things before they're old enough to do it, which is probably what a lot of you did growing up, doing things like I was driving a car out in the country long before I had a driver's license, with my parents' permission. Or corbicula. Corbicula is a fancy scientific name to describe the place on the rear legs of the honeybee where they store pollen. It's also known as a pollen basket. So, it's not really a basket that's woven and nailed onto their back leg. It's just a few little a flat concave part with a couple of hairs that kind of hold it all in there, and they add enzymes or saliva to the pollen and make it stay back there in big balls. That's corbicula. Yeah, it's a good one. Age polyathism. Age polyathism is a word that describes the division of labor of honeybees. Like when they're this old, they do that. 6 to 12-day-old bees are nurse bees. 12 to 17-day-old bees are making wax. So it's just a way that we can know what bees are doing based on their age. It's not it's polyathism. I can't say the other one now. Well, anyway, that's what it is. Is that all of them, or is there another one? Okay, that's it. All right, very good. I want to thank one of you mentioned that when you watch the replay of the live stream, you don't get to see the words because we do them early on the live stream, and you don't get to see them because I cut out the countdown for the live stream and some introductory comments. But so we put them after the teaching now. That way we can all stay up to speed on those great words. All right, let me look at my list here. Word of the day, past words. Okay, we're going to have a giveaway coming up pretty soon. I think you'll be excited about the giveaway. And let's get into some questions and answer time. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for being here tonight. So great to see so many of you. So many of you are new as well. So welcome to the live stream. I do this every Thursday night. David, how long might it take for my candy board to harden? We double your and Sheri's recipe from the video. Yeah, I can't really help you with that recipe. I'm not a good candy maker, cook, professional or anything. So I know Sheri's told me before that you can't really double recipes without something suffering. You just can't, multiply it out that way. It should harden immediately. I mean, within a minimum of 10 minutes, it should be hard once you make it and pour it onto the candy board. So 10 minutes is the answer. Oh, what new tool or strategy is on the top of your 2026 list? Well, you've asked the wrong guy because I am a bricular. A bricular is somebody that likes to take things that are sitting around and make something of all that other stuff that you have laying around. I'm a do-it-yourself guy. So I'm not really crazy about buying new things. I know when I go to conferences, I love playing and just hanging out in the vendor. You'll see me in the vendor hall a lot, just looking at everything. But I rarely get too excited about, I know they're paying, vendors pay the speakers kind of, they're paying money to be a vendor there. So that money is used to help offset the expense of the speakers. I understand that. I'm not putting vendors down, but I don't want to say, Wow, how do I back out of this hole? But I just want to say that I've been beekeeping almost 30 years and I have everything I need. Now, I did buy a vaporizer last year and I needed that because I wanted to do OA vapor. And so I saved up some speaker money and bit the bullet and bought that. That's not cheap. So things like that I'll buy that are new and proven to be really useful. But nothing on the radar right now that makes me want to buy something, can't wait to buy it. Hey, Larry. In light of your decision to wrap your hives this year, will you change your approach to screen bottom boards for the winter? Yeah. Let's see. Did I make that video? Yes, I made a video making a screen insert. So about half my hives, I've admitted over the last few years about half my hives are screen, half aren't. It doesn't seem to make a big difference at all on winter survival for me. Heat rises. Cold air doesn't really get through the screen if it's not up too high or if it's a good wind block. Heat of the hive rises up, so I'm not too worried about that. I just think it might be give the bees a better chance. And I'm using and you have to use OA, 2 or 3 times a year, 5 days in a row or something like, or not 5 days in a row, but 5 times in a row. And I got tired of having to slide something in there, Larry. And so I'm just going to slide it in there and leave it in there, probably make it happen. Yeah. I don't want to put solid bottom boards on because they cost too much money. And I don't want to have to go take the hive apart to put a bottom board on there. I just slide a piece of plastic in there. David, is it normal to see bees flying in 40, 50 degree weather? Where are they going? It is normal to see them. They're going to take a potty break. They're hiding behind a tree, going to the bathroom. That's what bees do on warmer days. They're probably, if they found a place to go, they would probably go there. 40 to 50, you would think, well, they're supposed to be clustering. Shouldn't be flying, but the sun hits the hive just right. Not very windy. The hive warms up. They can still do their stuff as long as they don't freeze. Bees don't move at all once they get to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. They freeze and can't move. Okay. David, best tips for a first timer for winter. Oh, I love this one. I just published a newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter list, you should be on there. It's free, and I have teaching on there and everything. But I just published it today, and I talked about wrapping in my newsletter. One of the things I said in my newsletter is wrapping won't make any difference if you don't have a strong queen, good resources of honey and bee bread in there. Mites are under control. You have a high population of diutinous bees. So that's my winter tip. Now, there's not a lot you can do about those 4 things now. You should have already had your mites under control all year. You should already have a good queen in there. You should already have a lot of resources in there. Good population of winter bees. So it's hard to go back in time and do anything now. It is what it is where I live. I can't do anything except feed my bees. So that would probably be my biggest tip is just make sure you get feed on there, fondant, candy board, something. What do you do with the bees on winter be kind boards when you're swapping to a new board? They do collect on some of the candy that still may be on there. I give it a gentle bang on the top of the hive above the frames, and the bees fall off. Some of the old candy might too. Just pick it off, brush bees off, get it out of the way, put a new one on. Yeah, it's not that bad. Sometimes you can wait long enough and there's no bees at all because there's not a drop of candy up there. They've eaten it all. Hi, David. What are your thoughts on condensing hive method when overwintering? Thank you. My good friend Bill Hesbaugh is the godfather of condensing hive. There are people that really like that idea. And I say there's room for all of us with various approaches to gather at the table and enjoy each other's company and opinion. I really do. I respect Bill. We talked a couple of times this week. So I like it, what he has devised. And other people have taken his stuff and built onto it. I may go there one day. I'm kind of I've always been, in fairness, I don't really ventilate hives heavily. I mean, my winter be kind board is the top insulated board. And, the side insulation, we all know isn't all that critical, but it helps. But the top insulation, I've always been a top insulation guy. And I don't really ventilate. I do have a little bitty tiny opening for the bees at the top of the winter bee kind. It's mainly so they can take a potty break because they don't have to walk all the way down over their dead sisters to go outside. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm kind of in between a ventilated hive and a condensing hive, maybe, but everything changes, right? Will mice chew through the plastic robbing screen? No, not the hard plastic. Oh, they could, but I don't think they will. I've never seen it happen. They chewed through my wall one time. Do you think that screen works better than an entrance reducer on the smaller entrance? Do you think screen works better than an entrance reducer on the smallest entrance? To keep a mouse out? Yeah. I would try both. I think a little bit of deterrent goes a long way in keeping mice out, whether it's screen or not. Yeah. I was going to talk about the entrance. Used to call them entrance cleats, but we call them entrance reducers now. But they work good to keep mice out on the smallest setting. Do those two mouse guards cause too much cold air flow into the hive? Well, I don't. Yeah, it would obviously cause more. Now, I am making a video in the next day or two, and I'm going to show you how to use bat insulation. This is what I've been most successful with. It's a condensing hive, but I insulate the heck out of a hive with bat insulation. I don't know what it is. It's way up there. It might be R30. It's crazy. And I used to do that all the time. And I've made videos. You can go back and watch my videos. I staple or tape bat insulation. By the way, that's what's in your walls of your house. If you're not familiar with that term, BATT, and it's paper-backed fiberglass insulation. And it really does work well for me. It doesn't, we get rains in the winter. It doesn't get all rainy and gross. It does good. Anyway, I like that. And so my method when I do that is to take it down and cover the bottom entrance up entirely with that and let the bees go in and out that little hole on the winter bee kind board. Has been my most successful way to wrap or insulate a hive. Yep. Thank you, EL, and the rest of you for your donations tonight. Our donations always go to help pay the bills for the live stream, and we also will have guests that we'll bring in, and we pay them when they are here, and we also use it for giveaways, which is coming up in just a minute. All righty, let's see. Why don't we use any sort of heater on beehives in cold climates in the winters? Something like a heating pad used by some people for chicken coops. Yeah, I know, because if we make it too warm, then the bees, they start doing things that they shouldn't be doing in the wintertime. You know what I mean? Instead of clustering, they get warm enough, they're going to eat all their food up more rapidly. They're going to be doing things too early. It's not really ever been proven to be a good idea. Yeah. Not much. Thank you for that donation, W.G. Wilder. Appreciate that for the live stream tonight. All right, one more question. We'll do a giveaway. Nashville, Indiana. Sheri said that we're going to go to Nashville, Indiana this year. No, maybe it wasn't Nashville. Something to do with, I can't remember the name of the place, but they have, Christmas stuff and all. Forecast is 61 degrees highest, 35 lowest next 7 days. Same here, Danny. I know we're stuck. I mean, remember the vinyl albums? They get stuck in a groove and they just keep playing the same thing over and over. That's where my weather system is stuck. Somebody needs to go out there and jar the clouds. Move along. I'm stuck in that too. And as a cyclist, I just biked a little bit before I got into here tonight, and it was cold out there cycling. Okay, so your feeder box top with no vent had 2 freezes already. Okay to wrap hives now or wait? Let's see your feeder box top. I have feeders, liquid feeders on top because they break cluster. They'll eat liquid feeder, raise more diatomaceous bees. I put insulation in there just to keep heat around, below it. and it's working out really good. They're still consuming it at cold temperatures. I go out there and look, 50 degrees, they're eating it. So yeah, you can wrap your hives. Just leave room for you to manipulate your feeder boards on top of the wrap. All right, let's have a giveaway. Tonight's giveaway, they're having to pry this. You'll have to pry this out of my hand. You really will. I like this. I like it. All right. You've seen me wear my shirt that says Hives for Heroes. And I love the organization because they match up experienced beekeepers to first responders and servicemen and women that have served in different capacities and all. And some of them may be going through hard times with what they had to do for our country. And so bees can help with that. And Steve Jimenez is a good friend of mine. We talk and we share, and I wear the shirt Hive for Heroes. That's what it's all about. Some of you would enjoy our videographer, Patrick. By the way, thank you, Patrick, and Sheri and Jessica, Carrie, and Robbie for being part of the live stream team tonight. But Robbie is, Patrick is a mentor for Hives for Heroes. He mentors someone. Anyway, we're going to be giving away a Hives for Hero. What is this? Tumbler? I don't know the proper word for it, but you put your cold or hot drinks in there. Comes with some cool stuff in there, maybe a sticker or two, business card for Hives for Heroes. And so hashtag H4H is the word to put in the comments. Please only put your H for H one time. It doesn't help to do it a lot of times. Okay. It won't make any difference. But anyway, this is a cool little canister mug. Anyway, it's Hives for Heroes, and it is be fun to have. And if you're not familiar with Hives for Heroes, do look them up on the website, on Google or something, and see what it's all about. It's pretty fascinating, actually, and I think it really is helpful. And you might want to become a part of their organization as a mentor and be assigned a mentee in your area that you can coach and you can help in beekeeping. And it might be very enjoyable for you to know that you're giving back that way. So yeah, this is what you'll be winning tonight. Hives for Heroes. Okay. Hashtag H4H. That sounds like some chemistry thing for water or something. H2O, H4H. So leave your comments there. Let's take a couple more questions while those comments are accumulating in the giveaway hat. Robbie's taking all your names and putting them in a hat and stirring them up. Hi, David. What weather app do you use? I use, let me look. Oh my, I'm sure I know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to mislead you here. I think it's WeatherBug. I like WeatherBug. I was part of WeatherBug way back when it first came out, and they do a good job for me. Pretty accurate, I find. Yeah. One more question. There we go. I'm doing a condensing hive, but I'm nervous about no upper hole vent. What's your thoughts? Well, I just kind of answered that. And yeah, it's not supposed to be any condensation. That's why it's called a condensing hive. I think it may drip down the walls if there is anything like that. The idea is something I've taught about for decades, or a decade and a half, where you don't want contrasting temperatures because the condensation develops on the warm side of contrasting temperatures. So if you don't have a lot of top insulation, water will accumulate inside the hive, above the hive, and drip on the bees. So I've been teaching that forever. I would be a tad bit worried myself, but I've not really seen any wet bees ever since I started using the winter bee kind board, which is an insulated top. And I know the idea is to condense the bees so there's little movement, little activities. We say bees don't hibernate, but they cluster. But then we kind of force them to hibernate. Anyway, so good luck. Just let us know how it goes. All right, let's see who's going to win our Hives for Heroes mug. All right. Hives for Heroes. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We have a big crowd tonight. Oh, so great to see you all having a good time. I wish I could just talk to all of you. Oh, Jimmy Hilton, you're the winner. So you'll get to keep your drink cool or warm, whatever you put in there. And think about Hives for Heroes. It'd be a good thing to have. I love their shirts too. Their shirts fit really well. I love the organization, but I just love the way that shirt feels. You know, I'm picky about shirts. Oh, this is an EAS shirt. And I bought this one at EAS, and I do like it too. It's made of good material. EAS stands for Eastern Apicultural Society. I'm not paid anything to say this, but I've been a part of EAS, Eastern Apicultural Society of North America, certified by them as a master beekeeper in 2010. And now I serve on the field team leader to test master beekeeper candidates every year. This next year will be in Louisville, Kentucky. So mark that on your calendar, end of July, to be at EAS. Love to see you there. I had lunch with some of you at the last EAS in New Jersey. So if you're in the Kentucky area, might be good for you to drop in. Oh, yeah, be sure and email us at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com, Jimmy, and let us know you won that mug. Email us within 24 hours, too. Almost forgot to say that, didn't I? All right. Let's hit the questions again. See if we can rapid fire some until we run out. Maybe I can get them all covered. Do you have a delay? Do bees have a delay focusing like people when they leave dark hive and fly out on a sunny day? No, they don't. Their eyes are compound eyes that are different than that. What about using red lights to check on hives at night? Yeah, red lights. I've done that a lot. Bees aren't attracted to that. It works out pretty good. It's not bad. Bees aren't bad for me at night. David, my queen on my hive has stopped laying. Should I requeen? I wouldn't worry about it. Maybe it's just, fall. Maybe they're idling way back right now. Is small hive beetle trap in the hive during the winter recommended? It's fine to leave in there. It may not be as, productive, but yeah, it's fine to leave in there. Those beetles overwinter with the bees, unfortunately. Hello, why don't honeybees get sticky when they move around in the hive? Well, they do, but they probably clean each other up. Hey, you got a little honey on your head. Bend over. Let me lick that off. I've seen them get caught in honey, and all the bees are like, okay, let me get that off of you. Any suggestions on how to create the best windbreak for hives in wide open fields? Man, I live in wide open fields. I'm scared to put anything out there. I'm telling you, it can be 20, 30 miles an hour and just destroy whatever I put out there. A building works great. A solid building. That's what I have a berm. We had a berm built in our back area. I put bees inside that berm, but that costs a lot of money to move dirt, all dirt. Will cold liquid feeding bring temperature down in the hive too much? No, not really. They're making a lot of heat. Remember, bees make a lot of heat. Yeah. If you're concerned about it, bring it in at night, let it warm up. Have you ever used hot water blankets to wrap your hive? It has a white plastic coating. I've never done that. No, same reason I fear they might get too hot. Yeah. David, on the winter kind board, is the insulation above below the candy? Is the inner cover installed or put in storage for winter? The winter kind board, the insulation is above the candy. So the candy acts as a little bit of insulation in the candy. And then the insulation is above the candy, or else the bees couldn't get to it. Yep. Should I leave my super on through the winter? There's honey below as well. I like to do that. It's a little insurance check just for me to leave. Insurance check? It's just a little insurance to leave that on there. One super, you can harvest more, but leave one on there for the bees. Yeah. What would you recommend to feed bees between now and when you add the winter kind board for winter? I'm feeding them liquid. I really am. And I'm going out there and looking. Some of the hives aren't up there eating the liquid, but I'd say most of them are. When I change them out, there's still bees under the screen. David, will the smallest setting on the standard Langstroth entrance reducer keep mice out? That's a good question. It seems like mice can go through anything, but I've never had a problem with mice getting in through that little setting. I haven't. I wanted to test that sometimes, put a mouse in an aquarium and block half of it off and test different things. Yeah, put cheese on one side. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Just received your feeder board. When I switch out the Man Lake top feeder, the inner cover had mold. How do I clean the mold off in the store for winter? You know what? Mold or it's more likely the mildew stain you're talking about. You just got to get to where you just don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt the bees, and it's just too much effort to get that out of wood or something. If it's in plastic, you can see plastic. You use use vinegar or maybe a mild bleach solution. Yep. Got to watch my clock. We're getting close. David, hello from Central Arkansas. Have you tried a Hive IQ Hive system yet? I haven't. No, I have not. Again, I'm a DIY guy. Does 1/4-inch hardware cloth over the entrance keep mice out? Seems like it would, but I don't know for sure. Bees could pass through it. Okay. 1/4-inch. It's kind of on the borderline. Good evening. Quick question for David. How often should we clear dead bees from the bottom board during the winter? If you didn't ever do it, bees would be okay, but just help them out, help a buddy out and clean that out so they don't have to work so hard to do it in the spring. One more. David, if you're using a quilt box and you're wrapping your boxes, do you wrap the quilt box also? You don't have to. That kind of is insulated with all those little, cloth and then wood chips, whatever you put up there. It's going to be some insulation. All right, guys, I want to just take a moment to thank all of you so much for being here on the live stream. Where does time go? They say when you're having fun, time flies. And that is true. Our time has flown tonight. I want to just let you guys know I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for being so kind to be here every week and being a part of this community. You know, we enjoy each other's camaraderie. We enjoy learning from each other, hanging out, talking, chatting, giving each other advice. And one thing I want to emphasize too is please understand that even though I do things a certain way that works for me, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try things. I'm a strong encourager for beekeepers to try everything. Do what you want to do. Try it out. See if it works, and do your own thing. I'll support you in that unless you're going to do something crazy and kill your bees. I'll warn you not to. But otherwise, it's just us finding the right little things that we like to do. There's a lot of products out there. A lot of people are selling things. I get it. Try it. Why not? It's not my way or the highway. I really support beekeepers. So I understand a lot of you like to do it differently. And anyway, just want you to know, try to be kind this week to as many people as you can. I think we're in a dearth of love and kindness in some respects in the country, in the world. And it's important that we teach our young people, especially, to share and be kind and be loving. And beekeepers are a place, beekeeping is a place where we can really enjoy that. And I've enjoyed being with you tonight. And I want to encourage you to watch my video that I just made this afternoon about wrapping and feeding your hive. May answer some of the questions. The link is in the description down in this video. Thanks for being here. I'll see you guys in the next video.